All right, let's do a little prize picks show as we close in on Texas and Ohio State. How about 24 days till the game as we record? But we debut the prize picks on Thursday, so that's 23 days as you're watching it. If you're watching us in the 10 o'clock hour on Thursday or whenever you're checking it out, thanks for jumping in. Jeff Ketchum had to go deal with something at the school with the kids. He's going to be a super dad. I'm Chad Hastings jumping in. We got Jason Sukamel, got Alex Dunlap. And we're going to give you some prize pick stuff to think about. You got the deal right there on top. Play $5 and get $50 instantly. Just use the code OrangeBloods at Prize Picks. Fellas, there's a lot of stuff out there. Jason, let's start with the one you just mentioned as we're getting ready. The most popular thing, shocker, the most popular thing in college football on Prize Picks right now is what?
Arch Manning passing yards, total passing yards in week 1 versus Ohio State.
And I'm seeing the number at 239.5.
Yep, that's it as of right now. And there's not a ton of action yet on these, or a ton of plays yet on these college football week 1 games. But of the guys that are out there, it's Arch Manning is the most popular. Carson Beck's the second most popular. Ryan Williams. And then the fourth most popular, by the way, is Arch Manning passing touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith, number 5. So it's all the big dogs that you would expect are getting the most, early action. But yeah, Arch is the number 1 play in terms of college football plays for week 1.
Yeah, interesting that Carson Beck's up that high. He's facing that Notre Dame defense in week 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, Alex, give me your gut. Arch Manning, 240 passing yards in Columbus to take that more. You like that?
I don't love it. I don't love it. Do you?
I'm with you.
It feels like the perfect number to me right now.
Yeah,
if you're trying to get, it feels like a really good. I could make an argument that Texas could still have a pretty damn good day, but he only comes out with about 220.
Yeah, I think if Arch goes out and he goes over that number, that means he's probably thrown for 3 touchdowns. Right, 2.5, 3 touchdowns. If he goes for 250, 260, that's there's 2.5, 3 touchdowns, and that's against Ohio State. And what that means is that means that Arch is going to be good, right? It's going to mean that all the lofty expectations of him. He's starting out the season saying like, all right, I've arrived. All this hype has not been for nothing. Look out for Texas because everybody we've been getting the reports from practice that the defense is looking really good, right? And we know that in fall camp this is always a zero-sum kind of game, right? So if the defense is looking good, then fans are always like, well, what does that mean about the offense? Is the offense not looking great? And you can't always think about it like that. But this is not to make that point. The point is you have not only the fact that the defense is looking good, they're taking the football away. They are reportedly kind of tough to move the football on right now. When you couple that with what Sark has talked so much about with him saying, gosh, if we had these defensive line guys last year, we might not have even needed to play Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton so much into all this. And that's the one part of the defense that people thought might be kind of a weak spot. And so there's all these different data points that have come to us about the defense being the strength of the team. I think if Texas goes in and wins this football game, I think it's going to be something where they're not allowing Ohio State to play on short fields. They're controlling the football. They're winning with the defense. I think there are too many game scripts to where if it's a winning game script for Texas that don't include Arch just having his biggest day as far as just pure passing. And I think that number feels about right anyway. So when I have all this other stuff, I think I'd be inclined to take the under, or the less.
Jason, you mentioned another one that I think ties into this. The passing touchdowns right now on Arch, I'm seeing at 1.5. Mm-hmm. So is that one that you also feel like, do they have a pretty good day? Yes, but does he end up with 2 touchdown passes? Is essentially where that one's going. Do you like that, or would you kind of dial it back down and say maybe it's 1, but it's not 2?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Alex. I mean, week 1 is clearly so tough to predict. I mean, Arch may go out and throw for 330 yards, right?
And then we're off to the races, right?
Yeah, exactly. But my gut tells me this isn't his first start, but it's his first, obviously start where he is the commander of this team, so to speak. It's on the road. It's against an Ohio State that I don't know their personnel. I haven't started to break down their personnel yet, but I'm assuming Ohio State's going to have a pretty good defense, right? We know Texas is going to have a pretty good defense. We've heard Sark say this week the Texas defense is ahead of the offense, as expected. He wants more from the offense. Ryan Wingo's been out. He's expected to be back this week, but hey, does that throw off timing a little bit? I don't know. You're breaking in a bunch of new offensive line. There's a lot of things about this that makes me think this game is more likely to be a defensive struggle. I'm talking a 21-17 type game than it is a 31-28 type game. And if I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, I think Texas is going to try to run the football, kind of chew up clock on the road. I'm feeling the less on these, but again, it's week one, man. It's a tough prediction, but my gut tells me it's going to be a low scoring game where, I don't know that either team's going to air it out. I mean, they both have weapons. Obviously, we'll talk about Jeremiah Smith here in a little bit, but they're both. Ohio State is definitely breaking in a new quarterback. Texas somewhat breaking in a new quarterback. So I don't know, man. For the sake of Orange Bloods and most of the people watching this, I hope I'm wrong, but my gut tells me those numbers might come in a little bit lower than what Prize Picks have.
Look, this isn't us like whenever we do our prediction show, like whenever we do this show for week one, I'm probably going to pick Texas to win the football game. Yeah. So it's like this is, and I think Arch is going to be great. And I think for the first week, it's just there's just so many things. There's also the thing about, I mean, whenever you think about the offensive line and the amount of guys they've had to replace, and now, they've had the injury to Kojo, which makes it, Brandon Baker was probably going to win the right tackle job anyway, but that was a job that was kind of still up in the air. A lot of these guys are new outside of, we're acting like Gooseby, some kind of seasoned vet, just because he played so well whenever he was called on last year. But the guys started, 3 games?
Two.
Yeah.
Was it 2? Or was it 3?
No.
Oh, I guess I forget. I thought that Cam Williams didn't come back until the Ohio State game.
Feels like forever ago. You might be right, but I thought he started one it left and won it right, but I might be wrong.
But the easiest way, I think, and I think that Sark will certainly know this. Kyle Flood will certainly know this. This is nothing new to them, but inexperienced offensive linemen, man, you prefer to get those guys running the football, man, getting them in their run blocking and stuff, as opposed to always having to get into their pass sets and give Arch a lot of time for longer developing routes and stuff like that. To me, it just seems obvious that the game plan should be get in, get a win, get out. The way you do it, making it easy on the offensive line, run the football, play good defense, but you win the turnover battle. I know it sounds like coaching talking points, but to me, it feels like the recipe for what you would need. I think in order for us to hit this, they would kind of need to get off kilter and get off script and get into a game plan where they're maybe playing from behind and they just have to take some shots. So,
all right. So before, and I think a really interesting conversation then becomes who gets in the end zone. So we'll talk about that because Prize Picks has multiple things for you right now about a Longhorn getting in the end zone. Before we get to that, fellas, y'all's discussion gets me thinking. Let me just present you with 2 things. If I guarantee you that Texas scores 17, do they win the game? That's what they did in College Station, and they won the game by 10. Jason, if I tell you 17 is on the board, is that a win?
No.
Or do you need
more? Man, guaranteed no. But if you're asking me, is it a guaranteed win? Absolutely not. But if you're saying percentage wise, I'd say I think it is probably 60-40. I think this defense is going to be really good. Yeah. Julian Sains, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback for Ohio State. But I mean, this is his first action at all as a college player. So I think 17 will get the win. I would say 60-40, but far from a guarantee.
So, Alex, would you like that 17? Or if I gave you 3 more, because they scored 20 in Fayetteville, if I give you 20, is that enough to where you'd say, all right, that's a win? That defense is going to be good enough. That's a win. Or do you need some more?
I don't know. Do you guys happen to know off the top of your head what the implied team totals are for this? So, okay, so the over-under is 48.5. It's a 2.5 point spread. So we made 24.
That's a little. Would you say this 40 what?
48 and a half.
48.5. So you're talking
That's
about
a lot higher than I would have expected. Wow.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing, dude. I was thinking, what if Chad even tells me 24 right now? Do I guarantee it? I'm not even sure. I think if you give me 25, I would say 25 wins it.
Oh, look at you getting nostalgic. 25 in Columbus. That's well played. Well done,
dude. I didn't even do that on purpose. I was just thinking. It feels like 24 is kind of the, I mean, the line would tell us that 24 is kind of the number that if you expect both teams to play equally to one another, and they're not really expecting that. Vegas sees it more of like a kind of like a 26.25 to 23.75, something along those lines. And so
I guess I haven't checked it in a while. I didn't realize Ohio State's 2.5-point favorites is what I'm showing.
Yeah, they're going with the kind of the stereotypical you get a field goal at home, I guess, sort of a feel. Yeah. If you feel like it's an even game, that tells me they feel like it's an even ball game, and you give the home team about a field goal.
Yeah. But I mean, but they didn't give them the full 3.
They did not. That's true. They were smart. They went 2 and a hook.
Yeah. 48.5 is shocking to me. I mean, I had not checked that before we started the show, but I would have thought maybe 41, 42. That's surprising to me, 48.5.
You're thinking about your Steelers line. Your Steelers.
That's right. Yeah.
Whatever. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. Come on.
So, guys,
I'm not sure how well that marriage is going to work out.
Me either, Alex. Me either.
Guys, let's go to one of my favorite things on Prize Picks, whether this is a high return thing for most people or not. I love the receiving plus receiving or rushing touchdown thing. Just, are you getting in the end zone? Like when I look at the NFL and the teams I follow, it's like, okay, is Mike Evans going to get in the end zone? Is CeeDee Lamb going to get in the end zone? And for this Texas-Ohio State game, there's 7 guys right now, including Arch, that have the exact same thing. This is receiving plus rushing touchdown, and it's Red Devil. So I'm going to flash all these names up, guys, and I want you to tell me who's getting in the end zone to create these points. Arch, DeAndre Moore, Gibson, Washington, Livingstone, Wisner, and Wingo. They are all looking at the same thing right now on Prize Picks. Red Devil.
Do you get like a 10x payout or something like that for? Are we talking Jordan Washington?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
I think it's his payout's the same as like.
I think the Red Devils are all basically the same, aren't they?
And I wish it was
there's different ways to adjust them, but right now these are all set the same.
It's like look the same to me. Yeah.
So it's the same multiplier for all the. Well, I mean that's ridiculous. Like
take Washington out. I mean, with all due respect to Jordan Washington,
right? Because to y'all's arguing about this game, that makes me want to lean towards the 2 running backs here.
Yeah,
Wisner, and/or Gibson.
The obvious pick would be Wisner.
Yeah,
100%. It's weak. I heard yesterday. I haven't put this on the board, so hopefully people aren't mad. I said it on YouTube before I put it on the board, but I heard Jared Gibson was getting some run with the ones yesterday at the on Tuesday at the first full pads practice. But I don't know, man. I think that it's just, coaches are, man. It's week 1. You get your 1,000-yard rusher in there from last season, the guy they've been doting on the whole time. The only thing about Gibson is they do kind of see him as a short yardage back. Doesn't it feel like Arch is going to score a rushing touchdown in this game?
See, maybe. That is the tease of that moment, isn't it? Everybody's got that imagery of when you see his highlights, they always seem to throw that touchdown from College Station in there to make you remember, or the long. I guess there was that long run in a home game too. But
he was always a Red Devil for this running receiving last year when he wasn't even starting. So it's maybe more appealing, or not maybe, it is more appealing this year. But I looked at that before we started recording. Your odds, to me, if you're taking those, would you say 7, right?
Yeah.
The guys on the bottom of the screen there. I mean, Wisner is your best value by far, right? In fact, I'd be curious. If I'm ranking them, I'd go Wisner, maybe
Arch,
Gibson, then maybe Wingo, Moore, Parker.
Arch should be higher.
Yeah, you're right. I'd put Arch up there, but Jordan Washington's your probably least value. I mean,
I was going to say,
that would be a different.
Think about it. Okay, fellas, are your top 3, like let's say there ends up being a third down, a 3rd and goal from the 1. At that point, it comes down to Wisner, Gibson, or Arch.
Yeah,
right.
Probably.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the next thing I guess I would look at is, Jason, you went with Wingo, but which of those 3 receivers do I think? I'm imagining a red zone situation, short yardage. I need a slant. I need a fade. I need something.
It depends on which, like, if you're throwing it to the back, if you're throwing it to the back pylon, and you're envisioning that, then that's Wingo. If you're envisioning like a whip route, that's from the inside, that's DeAndre Moore. If you're envisioning just a wide receiver screen to the Z and just let the guy dance in like a gazelle, that's Parker Livingstone.
That's Livingstone. Yeah, I lean Moore in that discussion for some reason. I'm thinking Zero is the guy in that situation. But it's a great little list. If you guys are into the prize pick thing, I will say it makes it fun for me when I play a prize pick like this, guys, because it's not about building up something. It's not about number of carries or yardage or something that you have to wait the whole game for. It really is a feast or famine. Are you in the end zone or not? And I've had slightly embarrassing moments where I'm a full-grown man pumping my fist in the air when I get one of these right.
It's a blowout game, and you get like a late 4th quarter touchdown, and Chad's running around. Yeah,
it is the best. It's the best thing in the world. So those 7 guys to look for. And again, if you're in the Arch fan club, and who isn't, do you like him to be one of those guys with a rushing or receiving touchdown? Maybe you look for that on Prize Picks. We also mentioned those passing yards, the rushing or passing touchdowns for Arch. One other one I'll throw out, guys. How about Wingo? 60.5 receiving yards is out there on a more or less. 60.5. So you need 61, Alex, receiving yards for Wingo. That feels like a little bit for me. That feels like a lot. I might go less if I had to pick it.
Well, it's like he's priced it. The market's priced his projection in as starting alpha number 1 wide receiver for the Texas Longhorns, because last year, like Isaiah Bond to start the season, his were always like 58.5, right? Wingo stepping into a similar role. It's just for me, he could go for 130 yards. He's such he's a Ferrari, right?
Right. See, I'm also going off of, I'm always the guy in Prize Picks that wants to do the more. I want to be Mr. Positive, and I feel like I'm so wrong on that. I've been looking for moments to go less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna put an entry in on this, but if you made me, I would. If you told it was a Flex Friday or something where I can make one for free, which is something that people should check out when you sign up and use the promo code Orange Bloods, play $5, get $50 instantly. On Fridays, you get a protected play. So you can, sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $20, and you could take that and you can put together your entry to up to like 25x, right? If you put 6 players, and you could turn that $20 into $500. And if you lose, you just get the money back. So it's like, you should check, and that's every Friday. So make sure.
The other thing, Alex, Taco Tuesday. If you ain't playing Taco Tuesday, you're missing out. This week, all 3 Taco Tuesdays hit. That's where they discount a player. So if Wingo's 60.5, they may make him
45.5.
Yeah, exactly. I play Taco Tuesday. There's 3 of them every week. I play them every week, and
you want to just deposit and get the free money, and then just do that, and then you just it's obviously they're going to hope that you play a lot more, but if you did that,
too fun not to, man. You can't not play on Saturdays and Sundays, right?
So, but as far as I would take the less. Is there any rushing numbers?
No
rushing numbers. Just those touchdowns for Wisner and Gibson. I have not seen rushing numbers for anybody.
I'm with Alex on Wingo. If I'm taking the less on Arch, the same logic applies for Wingo, but 60.5 yards, so 61 he would need. I mean, he can get that.
He could double that.
He could. And he could get that in 2 receptions pretty easily, right? So tough one to call, but hey, if I'm going by my thinking, now this line or total of 48.5 has me rethinking things a little bit. But if I'm thinking it's going to be maybe a defensive game more than an offensive game, if I'm taking the less on Arch, I'm probably taking the less on Wingo. But hey, we still got a couple weeks. Our tunes may change over the next couple of weeks as well.
All right, guys, before we wrap up here, Jason, let's be fair and go to the other receiver stud. If people are interested in Jeremiah Smith, what does that look like today?
Well, he's at 89.5. What did he do against Texas last year?
89.5 receiving yards,
down, dude.
Exactly.
With what Texas did to him last year, that's got to be a less, right?
It wasn't just Jade Barron. It was the scheme that they drew up.
Yeah, I'm going strong. I agree. Strong less. You've got a new quarterback. What Texas did last year, I get it. He's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah,
you could, like Alex said, he could double that. Okay,
and they don't have a Emeka Egbuka to worry about this year.
So yeah, I mean, you're going to roll coverage, double them up, whatever you got to do. I'm taking the less on 89.5 for Jeremiah Smith, with the understanding that dude's one of the best football players in the country.
Texas is one of the best secondaries in the country.
Yeah, exactly. What he's going against, and schematically, I think they'll keep him in check.
Interesting. Is that it? Is that the only one for him right now? Any like touchdowns or anything?
I think that's the that's a good
because that's one. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, they've got him. No, they don't have a touchdown on him. They've got several other players the same as Texas rushing and receiving touchdowns, and they'll put more Jeremiah Smith plays and more Ryan Wingos. But right now, for Jeremiah Smith, it's only the receiving yards.
Because he's one of those guys I'd think about if you're looking for somebody. Obviously, you can't have all Texas players on your pick, but like if it's a guy about who's getting in the end zone, assuming Ohio State scores a touchdown, who scores it? I mean, Smith is a nice.
Yeah, it's probably why they don't have him on there. And if they do, it might not be a Red Devil. Interestingly, they've got Max Clare, the tight end, on there for 0.5 rushing, and that's a guy that Texas targeted that ended up getting Jack Henry instead. So.
God, I forget this is going to be the Max Clare versus Jack Endry's game right away. Like those two guys that people were looking at, and they get to play each other in game one. All right, so there's some college ideas for you. Again, play 5, get 50 instantly. Use the code Orange Bloods. Before we wrap, Alex, NFL preseason really firing up this week. Quinn Ewers on Sunday. Shedeur Sanders is going to get a start for Cleveland. Is there anything for you
to start? I didn't see that news.
That's what I heard today. They're going to let him start this game. I thought he had a shoulder the other day, and that's why they got Tyler Huntley. But apparently, Shedeur's going to go.
I'm not touching that.
No, I wouldn't either. Is there anything you like? Would you tell people to even like just stay away from NFL preseason because that feels weird and risky to me? Or do you like preseason plays in the NFL?
Oh, I like it. Just an initial look at this. I'm looking at the Thursday night game, so just a little bit later, right? I think that all right. So we have. We have Las Vegas, or we have we're not going to fall into the trap of the Omari and Hampton stuff with Ashton Genty, right? It's like these guys who are rookies, you generally think rookies in the preseason, they're gonna see what they got in these guys. They don't need to see what they've got in these first round running backs.
I'd go less from what we just saw with that other one.
It's just 21.5 for Genty. I mean, we know he can do that in one play and then you take him out. But
wait, you're talking, where's Genty's 21.5?
Okay, 21.5 rush yards. Yeah. There is one that I find interesting, or two I find interesting. One is Jalen Milroe. Now he's a guy, 25.5 rushing yards in the preseason. He's not going to be able to process even preseason football just yet. I don't think. Milroe's fast. I bet you he's gonna have some flash plays rushing the football. I would lean toward the more there on 25.5. But the one that I really like, and it seems a little bit high, but it's Taj Brooks, who was drafted in the 7th round by the Bengals. If you look at where the Bengals depth chart is, and you just kind of take some of the context clues that we've gotten, being able to address their coaches and their GM or whatever they call Duke Tobin. He's not the GM, but he's the GM. The Bengals are weird. They give him a different title. Mm-hmm. The way that the Bengals have built, they have spent like 48% of their salary cap on their quarterback and their two big wide receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And so he's saying like, well, there's things we need to do. Like we need to make sure that we've hit on guys like, and he mentioned specifically Chase Brown, Amarius Mims. these types of guys that they've drafted, they have on cheap contracts right now, and they got to keep these guys healthy and yada yada yada. Right? Chase Brown last year got too many touches. That's a guy who they really like what they saw out of him. They're talking about him being the scrimmage yards leader all time in Bengals history this season. That like they've talked about that kind of stuff. His running backs coach has said he's going to be a household name by the end of the year. He's the next Austin Eckler. So I don't think he's going to even play. And if you look at the other running backs that are on the roster, they have Samaje Perine, who like anybody needs to see anything out of Samaje Perine in the preseason.
Yeah. God love him, by the way, for still being in the league. What's this, like year 16 for Samaje Perine? How many years has he been in? Good grief.
Taj Brooks, they have to see what they have in this guy. Can we take something off of Chase Brown's plate this year? And we all watched Taj Brooks for the whole time he was at Texas Tech. This is a bowling ball of a runner. We've seen him rack up just massive, massive days, always falling forward. And I don't think, the other guys that they have, like they just really, really stink, like Kendall Milton and Gary Brightwell and stuff.
What's the number? What's the number? What's the number you're looking at? You like
29.5 rushing yards.
29.5, and you like the more?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm going to take that one.
Hey, Alex, I got a question. So I'm looking. One of the plays they have are PATs mate, and they've got like Jake Elliott 1.5, Jason Myers 1.5, Carlson for the Raiders 1.5, Baltimore's kicker 1.5. I can't remember the last time I watched a full preseason game.
Yeah.
But they don't swap out kickers, right? Like Jake Elliott's going to kick the whole game, PATs, right? And field.
Well, they got to get those They got to get those guys game experience.
So 1.5, you're like, okay, is Philly going to score? I get it, preseason week one, but like, you sure think they'd score 2 touchdowns, right?
Those are the only safe reps available in all of football, right?
Yeah,
that you can get a guy those reps and you're not going to get him hurt.
And they try to simulate it in practice too, where they get around and they yell at him. It's just like, dude.
But I mean, Jake Elliott, like he could not kick all preseason, he'll be fine. But what's the point of having some other guy come in there and kick for you? So I'm assuming Jake Elliott.
And if you were worried about that, that's not going to happen. I think if that were to happen, it would be something odd that maybe we would know about beforehand. But if you're worried about it, I mean, you could just take Tyler Loop, who's the guy that they drafted to replace.
Tucker.
Justin Tucker after all his stuff.
Yeah, because he's the guy. You're right. Maybe even more so than Jake Elliott, because they're going to want to get him as many looks at him.
He really needs it.
Yeah. He's a guy to where even if it's a questionable kind of moment or whatever, but it's like, some kind of 48-yard kick, but they could go for it. It's just 4th and 1. Well, they would say, well, let's just take this opportunity to see how he does, with a longer near 50-yard kick, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of, I would have never.
Cameron Dicker, I'm looking, kicked all 4 of the Chargers PATs. Okay, so. Yeah, I kind of like looking at those PATs, the mores on those PATs. Yeah.
Kind of like that, Jason. That's good. That's good nerdy football prize pick playing right there.
As soon as we think we're pretty smart, though, then the prize picks knows what they're doing. I promise.
All kickers will get sat at the same. They're going to sit them all at the same time. All right, fellas. Anything else y'all want to throw out? Or are we good?
We're good.
Thank you guys for checking out Prize Picks. And remember, like Alex mentioned, like I've mentioned, use that code OrangeBloods. Play $5. You get $50 instantly. It is a lot of fun when you have a little Prize Picks going on. And remember, it's these 7 guys right now for the game in Columbus, receiving plus a rushing touchdown, and it's a Red Devil. Do you like the arch play? The 2 running backs? One of those guys? Which receiver do you like? All of that. And if you want to go crazy and take Jordan Washington, good luck. I don't think any of us would do that. But if you want to say Jordan Washington's your guy, maybe a little seam route early in the game, never know.
It's not out of the question. I mean, it's not out of the question.
Yeah, but not out of the question. I might go. And interesting that injuries isn't on that list either as of right now. Keep looking at Prize Picks for all that stuff. Use the code OrangeBloods. We appreciate you. And remember, the Prize Picks show hits every Thursday at 10 a.m. right here on Orange Bloods Live. See ya.